Oh my God, I did not know that. That is insane because we tell each other pretty much everything.
I know, but
that's a story that I don't think you've ever shared. This is one I don't
ever talk about, really.
I was like, I don't know if you realize this, but this is on the internet now. Welcome to No Substitutes, the show where I have some of my favorite people on and we talk about what ingredients make them who they are. And today is a very, very special guest because she made me from scratch. Is my very own Mama, Brooke. Mama Bear came on the show, which will give a lot of you more insight to why I am the way I am. I owe everything to this lady. Yeah. But yeah, let's see. We got breakfast this morning.
Yeah, that was cute.
That was fun. We went to Salt's Carrot in LA. Yeah. How are you feeling?
Good.
Are you nervous? No, not anymore.
Not anymore.
Okay, good. I made her drink a mojito.
Tequila mojito.
A tequila mojito. Because I was like, just take the edge off. She's like, it's 10 a.m.
I was all, this is weird.
This is weird.
That we're drinking at breakfast, but okay.
That's okay.
People do it with mimosas. So we did it with tequila.
Yeah. Math is mathing. It's fine. But yeah. So this is my mama. She, the story that goes with that. She raised me. She raised us in Northern California. But she is actually a SoCal girl. She's from Riverside. I don't know
born in Fountain Valley.
She was born in Fountain Valley.
Raised in Orange County, and then about 6th grade moved to Lake Elsinore.
Lake Elsinore, yeah. We were in Lake Elsinore for a little bit. Okay, well, let's get into it. What is your earliest childhood memory?
My earliest childhood memory?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
It's so long ago.
Well, there's so many, earliest child, maybe.
What's I guess, a core one?
I guess where we grew up in Fountain Valley, we had a pool. And so I guess that the swimming in the pool, having all the neighbor kids.
Yeah, I've seen I think Grandma showed me some home videos when Papa had his long hair.
Oh gosh, yeah. And his long
his long mustache. Yeah. And you and all my aunties and uncle were swimming. Yeah. I've seen videos.
Fun time.
Yeah. There's also were there ever videos when did great grandma get that house? The house that she had for a long time that they sold?
Your great grandma.
My great, sorry.
They moved there when we lived in Fountain Valley.
Yeah.
They lived in Orange County too. I don't remember where, but not too far from us. And then they moved before when we were kids still. Because we would go and visit grandma and grandpa out.
That's why I'm I think I also have seen videos there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Beautiful piece of land. Very unfortunate that it got sold.
Yeah.
I think I kind of know the answer to this question, but who did the cooking in your family, my family, and the family while you were growing up?
My mom and then me.
Yeah.
My mom did always. My dad never cooked. He randomly maybe barbecued on weekends sometimes, but he wasn't around a lot growing up.
Mm-hmm.
And then as we got older, when my mom started working, I think I was in junior high or so. And then I took over a lot of the cooking I'd cook dinner for the family or for my siblings, the younger ones.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like to cook. I learned, baking, cooking. I always helped at grandma's house when we always did big Thanksgivings or Christmases. My mom said I was always the one in the kitchen helping.
Yeah.
My sisters were out running around, but I was,
mm-hmm.
hands-on with learning stuff. I'd learned stuff from Grandma, Aunt Marianne, and my mom.
Yeah.
They all cook different. My mom was very plain and basic. Certain basic things I learned from her, and then Marianne ate a little healthier, and so did Grandma.
Yeah.
So they taught me different things.
Did Aunt Marianne get into Italian cooking when she married to Uncle David?
No, David's a really good cook.
Okay. I was going to say.
He cooks and
her husband looks like Mr. Potato Head.
Yeah. They
but
were the
like
ones
Italian.
that got me. They introduced me to like more eating food and healthier. Like when I was in like later high school and college, early college, like when I went to junior college.
Yeah.
I started eating like healthier foods.
When I was a kid, I know I was a brat about eating healthy, but I'm so grateful, especially hearing like the food you grew up with.
Yeah.
Like when I tell people what your day-to-day diet was in high school.
Oh God.
Would you like to share with the class?
Oh my God. Well, like elementary and junior high, it was like a Dr. Pepper and like a thing of Hostess donuts.
Yeah.
And then high school, it was just like Burger King or pizza, but it was just soda.
Which was crazy because she was like this small.
Yeah. She's 100 pounds.
Yeah.
105. Ate horrible though, and had headaches all the time because I was so unhealthy.
Yeah.
So
migraines.
Yeah. Water wasn't a thing back then yet. Like
it wasn't invented yet.
Well, it's like it just wasn't important, I guess. It just wasn't. I remember when a Brita came out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I remember starting to drink water, not for hydration, but it was like in Vogue magazine, it was like, oh,
it's the new hot thing.
To be like your skin will be clearer if you drink more water and to be skinny.
That's amazing.
That was my motivation for water. And then now that's all I drink.
Right.
Mostly.
Yeah. I don't think I really ever see you drink soda anymore.
No. It's very rare. Random.
Yeah.
Random at a restaurant or pizza saying, root beer and pizza tastes good.
Yeah. I'm like, it depends on the pairing.
Yeah.
Like
pairing root beer and pizza.
Yeah.
So fancy.
Yeah, exactly. It matters. The palate really matters with those two.
Yes.
Yeah. No, but growing up, you did a lot of cooking, even if it wasn't like fancy cooking. So I'm very grateful for that. And organic food, even when I was born, like, yeah.
I tried to stress, protein and veggies.
Yeah.
And then it was like, if you guys ate the potatoes or you guys ate the right, like I didn't care as much.
Yeah. It was
bread. Yours was bread.
And I loved bread and like carbs growing up.
Yeah.
And then, but I had eczema. And so.
Learned that wasn't very good for you.
Yeah. My mom took me got me what was it? I got my allergy test. Yeah, I got allergy test.
Neuroemotional technique.
Yeah, what was it called?
Neuroemotional technique. NET.
Yeah. So I was allergic to
gluten, soy, dairy,
corn,
and corn. Yeah, but
it's like everything.
Soy and gluten were the two, and dairy were the most that.
My eczema inflamed
the eczema. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's why I'm very grateful that I grew up with a mom who cared about that stuff. Didn't just like, give me steroid shots or cortisone. You're like, no, we need to figure out the source of this. Also, like laundry detergent. That was like an important thing growing up.
You're being born so sensitive, and with all of your like intolerances, whatever you want to call them, that drove me to more of a holistic and like natural way of living because I didn't know that. I was 22 when I had you, and I only knew what I was taught, and all my friends didn't have kids, and none of my sisters, they weren't. Krista had Kylie, but she wasn't living that kind of lifestyle or anything.
No.
And then when I met, Dr. Chris, and then he did that, and then he said, go to Mother's Market. This is where you want to get her food, and look for these ingredients. Don't get anything with, hydrogenated oils, canola oil. Just taught me a bunch of different things, and then it was just like, oh, so like it was hard at first with all the eczema and like having to use all the natural stuff and like, oh, just basic things that you wouldn't even think of, like detergent or wipes. And I'm like, I'm using baby stuff, and they're like, it still has a lot of chemicals in it.
Yeah,
and you learn, and you're like, oh. And then you learn just food, how many chemicals are in food.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't have known that. So it was like.
So it was thanks to me.
Having you, completely shifted my, I would say, health and food choices. Yeah. Because I would have just shopped at a regular grocery store like everyone else.
I would be drinking Dr. Pepper and Hostess Donuts right now.
You could. I used to give you guys a lot of sugar and didn't realize that was a bad thing until I got older.
I didn't really like sugar.
Yeah.
Again, I'm like, my vice was literally sourdough bread or like pasta. Or ice cream. I did like ice cream.
Ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what you'd eat at grandma's. You'd get like.
Oh, Eggo waffles. Yeah, yeah. Grandma would give me Eggo waffles.
Or when I tried to raise you vegetarian and then you would sneak like hot dogs or
Bologna.
bologna. It was so gross. It was like the grossest kind of meat ever.
I know.
But I thought I was raising them healthier and doing the best. And it was like, oh, I got intolerated for soy and got all imbalanced. She was all like unhealthy and it just was not the
And we were
lifestyle
cranky.
choice for
We were
us.
very cranky to be vegetarian.
Yeah. They talk about it as like the dark
Yes. times.
Remember that time you made us vegetarian?
Yeah. I mean,
I thought I was doing a good job. I thought
Yeah.
it was like, oh.
well, the thing is too, like growing up, becoming an adult, you realize your parents were, no matter what experiences were happening, they were doing the best they can.
Yeah, for what they know.
For what they know.
You can only live life for the experience you have,
Exactly.
the knowledge you have.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I forgave her for vegetarianism.
Yeah, because then you ended up getting older and going through that little period of time in high school where you were vegan, gluten-free.
Yeah, that was annoying too.
Hating on me. You hated me for eating meat.
Being a
Now you love steak.
I do love steak.
That's what we had this morning, steak and eggs.
We had steak and eggs. Yeah.
So good.
We love it. What was one of the first foods you ever learned how to cook? Do you remember?
I feel like it was pancakes.
That's
like
a good
actual
one.
food, like learning that because I feel like that was the easiest. And then it was like spaghetti, like 'cause that was one of the main things. My mom made spaghetti, and then that Spanish rice she makes. That's not really Spanish rice.
My grandma makes this.
It's from like the Betty Crocker cookbook.
Yeah, she pretty much makes rice with hamburger helper and calls it Spanish
it's not hamburger,
rice.
It's just hamburger meat.
Oh,
So it's like bell
I
peppers,
thought it was
onions,
hamburger helper.
and you saute that with the meat, and then you add in minute rice, which is like the worst rice you can possibly eat. It's not even real.
Yeah.
And then you add in tomato sauce and mustard, and then salt and pepper, and that's it. So it's very, very white bread food.
It was good back. I remember I liked
everyone
it.
that I've ever made it for really does love it. They're just like, this is so good.
I know.
And it's filling. It's comfort food. I would say
Yeah.
it's comfort
I'm like,
food.
it's comfort food.
That was definitely. Then I learned to make that, and that was like friends in high school liked it. So when I would cook, any friends would be there, or my guy friends. I always had guy friends in high school, like best friends, and they loved to come over if I was making dinner. They're like, I'm eating.
Yeah, for sure. Who were the friends or family you spent the most time with growing up?
Like early or
she has like 5 siblings. So
yeah.
Very full house. It wasn't like she's had to
like I had certain
struggle to find people to be around.
Certain friends elementary, like when I lived in Fountain Valley.
Yeah.
Like Ginny and Robin were my best friends. And then when we
About
moved to Lake
Kathy?
Elsinore, I would say Talika
Yeah.
is probably a lifetime
Friend.
She's still we're still very close.
Mm-hmm.
And Kathy was like my best friend through high school, and we moved out together in our 20s before I had you.
Yeah.
And then my whole life just changed trajectory. I
Yeah.
was 20s and everyone was still partying.
Yeah.
I chose to be a mom.
Yeah.
I did not choose to party still after I became a mom.
Yeah. That's fair.
Yeah.
You met my dad at like a party or something, right?
Met him at the Hilton in Huntington Beach.
Oh.
Me and Kathy and her other friend, we were dancing on the bar, and him and his friends saw us and liked us. And I was kind of like I was kind of dumb, like kind of the dumb girl.
I was just kind of dumb.
Well, I did things where like
Ditzy?
like Danielle and Chandra, they were older than me, and they were always like fucking Brooke, you know. So then I show up to their apartment with like 4 guys, and for some reason in my head I thought they knew each other.
Right, you're
and they're all in bed, and they're like, me and Kathy were staying at their house because these are our older sisters.
Yeah.
So we're down in Huntington, we're out. They're like probably have to go to work the next day, maybe. I don't remember. But yeah, I brought your dad back to their house and like, you know, hung out on the couch, made out with him, and then he left me his pager number. Cell phones were not a thing back then, but he had a pager.
And he was like, I'm gonna get her pregnant. They're not together, by the way. I don't know. People don't know. I don't really talk about my background like that. I don't think I've shared too much with people. This is like the first interview I'm doing too, like letting people know, like I was raised by a single mom. Actually, no, I've definitely mentioned that before. But yeah, I had 2 siblings with those 2, my mom and my dad, and then we moved to Humboldt County, and my sister passed, and then she met Nat, who's also a really great human. And then they had my little sister. Yeah. So we've had a full house, no matter what.
3 kids to 2 kids to 4 kids to 5 kids. And then raised, the 5 for the 14 years that we were married.
Yeah. That was fun.
Yeah. Fun
she
times.
she was just sharing with my partner how lovely I was, how much of a delight I was in my teenage years with growing up with all those siblings.
She did not like that I had so many kids.
It just doesn't make sense. It's like you have one, and then, and it was me. I'm the firstborn. And I'm like, wow, I just wasn't enough from the start.
Nope. I just did not realize how fertile I was.
Yeah. It's okay. I was thinking about the lobotomy thing this morning. We were at breakfast. I was like, you should just get a lobotomy.
She meant hysterectomy. And I'm like, what?
Back in the day, that's what they were doing.
So I was joking because when you hear people, I have friends that are like in their 30s or 35, and a lot of people are trying to get pregnant at this time because it's like, oh, my window's closing. And when I hear people that say they're trying to get pregnant, I just crack up because never did I try to get pregnant. It was like, I'm pregnant every time.
Every time. And today is the day I learned I was a mistake.
No, there's never a mistake.
I know.
Never mistakes.
I know. She's such
life is life.
Yeah. And she always raised one of my favorite arguments that she always would say. And now it's like something that I use a lot when I say nice things to you. But when we would get in fights or argue when I was younger, she would say, you chose me as your mother. You chose.
Out of all the people in the world, you're like, that one. I'm coming down to her.
Yes. And now I always say, I'm very grateful you're my mom. In every life, I would choose you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She made me cry when she messaged it to me one day. I was just like, oh my God. Yeah.
It's true. It almost like makes me sad to think if I have to go find a different mom. Actually, Jennifer Coolidge would be a cool mom, but just someone random. So I'm like, oh man, if she was my mom, that'd be fucking weird.
I just watched Old Sex in the City, and she's on one of the episodes.
Yeah.
So
funny. She's like selling bags. Yeah.
She makes purses after her divorce.
She's so funny.
She's pretty much funny in all her.
She is. I love. Yeah. She's always. Her and Anna Faris always play the same characters, but they kill it as those characters. Yes. I always remember seeing a meme of Anna Faris. You're like, this girl plays a dumbass so good. She kills it in this role.
Even when she didn't she do the new Overboard?
Yeah. Or no, I don't know who did that one.
I feel like she did, and it was very funny.
Oh, okay. Then
I was like, oh my God, she's so funny.
Yeah. Trying to think. Was that does anyone know, did Kurt Russell and
the first one?
Yeah, but did they get married before, or did they hook up because they're married now? Or they're not married. They never together. Did get married. They never got married because they were both divorced when they met. They were like, that's not
no reason to.
But yeah. I love Hollywood stories like that, like meeting on set and then falling in love. I don't know. Who are some people who have helped you grow?
Helped me grow? I'd say my kids. Yeah, definitely raising all the different kids helped me grow. I feel like, because life experience helps you grow. Mm-hmm. like all the things that have happened to me are like, you know, things that are like, oh, that's hard, you know,
Right.
but then you go through it and then you grow from it. I don't feel like any person, there's just so many people.
Yeah.
It's like,
I always say that's
Maya.
kind of a hard one. Yeah.
There's like so many people that even Dr. Chris, like he was the first person.
The Maori
like,
healers.
Yeah, the Maoris.
Yeah. I feel like you, like all your teachers and like really influence you in your work. Like I always feel like you choose you choose really good teachers and coaches, and always seem to just be like
even Rick is like a teacher. He's like he's like I've grown a lot since I've like
no, he's awesome. What is your favorite memory of me when I was a toddler?
You're a toddler?
Mm-hmm.
I would say probably you running around out in the backyard in just like your underwear. And we called you Mowgli. Like you never liked to be clothed, you know. And we lived somewhere where it was pretty hot. So you most of the time it didn't matter.
Yeah, like Elsinore.
Yeah. Yeah. And toddler, you were 2 when we moved back there. So 2.
Yeah.
And you were just so free. You would just like go back there. You wouldn't need any toys. You were not a big toy kid.
No.
You didn't like things, you know, but dirt and rocks and some sticks. Like you'd be out there and people would crack up. Some people would look, they would be like, what is she doing out there? And I'm like, she's just doing stuff. And you would do like make little designs with the rocks. Like, and it was like, you're like a little native kid, just very primal.
Very primal.
Very primal.
Yeah. Not much has changed.
But you were, you just your wild free spirit. I would say. Yeah.
Yeah.
Climbed on everything. Just was. Oh, I guess that's the funniest. When you fucking made Grandma Lisa lose her shit when I came home from work because you had went into her room and took every tie of Papa Willie's and her robe ties and made a rope because she loved Tarzan. She loved Peter Pan. She liked all those characters of movies. And they had a 2-story house that went like the stairs went up this way and then up this way. And then the banister went all the way to the ground.
Yeah.
She would tie a thing and then go to this little platform where my mom had a fake plant and she'd jump off of it
and swing.
And my mom just lost her shit. She thought Lumina was so wild.
Yeah.
And had a really hard time. And my mom helped watch the kids because I was a single mom with 3 kids working 2 jobs.
She's not a fan. She's not a fan of the feral.
I found about, a lot of people were like.
Yeah, I'm like, you tell me stories of people being like, you should put her on Ritalin. You should,
you should spank her.
Yeah, I'm like.
She needs to be spanked.
Super grateful I wasn't.
Hit her.
Yeah, not going to hit her for just being a kid. Either. Yeah.
You were never bad. Like the things you did were like.
Yeah.
It was just being,
autistic.
No, it wasn't even like nowadays people are way more open to raising their kids more like that, like allowing them to be who they are.
Yeah.
But back then it was just like people were still more into the controlled behaviorism of like raising kids. Like, nope, my kid's going to do this and they're going to do that. And my kid's never going to do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, I didn't believe that way when I raised kids. I was like,
no, you let us choose. At least like.
I had certain things.
Right.
Like,
well, like you always instilled things in us, like to be active, to be outside, to do stuff like that. But we chose to play soccer or we chose to like play sports. You weren't like, you're going to be a soccer legend.
No. Yeah.
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 That's funny.
Stuff like that. Like we always hiked. We always did stuff outside. So.
Yeah. You had to be outside.
Yeah.
You like raising you was like wake up in the morning. I would get ready before you and then get you ready. And then we're right off the bat after breakfast. We had to be somewhere like doing something like to where I could let you just like go.
It's funny because I feel like that's what Luke feels like now. Like, especially when we travel, he's like, okay, gotta take you for your walk. Gotta take your potty. Gotta take her outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like you were just happier. You were happier if you were free and outside. Yeah. And you like to go on like walks around places and parks and beaches. And that's what you liked. And it's like, I don't know. I feel like if you attune to your kids and listen to them, they kind of like.
Or it's like we're trying to show you like what's so cool about outside. Because maybe parents and grownups forget what it's like to, I don't know, That's the only thing the idea of having a kid, that's the only idea I like is I know there's a lot to learn from being a mom and like to remember how important play is and to remember like, I don't know, they remind you of that little version of yourself that maybe society or some people beat down and didn't take care of, didn't show up for. It's like, I feel like having children can be very healing in that way. But yeah, I'm also grateful that you instilled like going to therapy when we were really little and doing energy work. Because through everything I did with Maya, like definitely healed a lot that I didn't have to go look for, you know, through other things or healing the little version of us. So I'm very grateful for that.
Yeah, because it wasn't always smooth.
Mm-hmm. Besides being a parent, what was your favorite part of your life during this time?
During right now?
I don't know. Right now?
No.
I meant that was like in the young adult life section. Yeah, my bad.
See, this is why I'm like, just give me a script.
Before like having you?
Yeah, like
no, even
around like 20s. What was your favorite
Why?
time about being? What was just your favorite time? It can be before me, during, after. Oh no, wait, I'm still here.
Yeah,
before. Or
I mean,
now.
like, I would say like, just in your 20s. Like, and then I try to give you the out of besides Lumi because you're gonna probably say, "Oh, that was my favorite part, being a mom." Yeah. So besides being a parent.
Yeah.
I don't know. My favorite time in my 20s. I mean, I had just moved out. My life went really quick when I had because I had, I'd lived at home and I was doing like a few years of junior college lived at my parents' house, and then I moved out to Huntington. Like I think 20, and then by 21 got pregnant. Like I was barely there a year.
Yeah.
Met your dad. Like we were only together maybe 6 months when I got pregnant with you. And I don't know, moving out, I guess it was pretty fun when we moved out, me and Kathy. It was like our own little apartment. And we were both really clean. That was funny. People thought that was really weird. I didn't realize other people weren't clean that were in their 20s. And we actually had food.
I remember learning that when I first moved out. I finally like knew how you felt. I was like, oh no. Yeah. I'm so used to living in such a clean house.
Yes.
And
not everyone's like that.
No. It's so sad to figure that out on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. I know you probably won't say you regret it, but do you kind of wish sometimes that you got a little more time in that? Or do you feel like you weren't missing out on much?
I don't feel like I missed out. I feel like I was never a big partier. Like I never, even in high school, like my two sisters were, and even my foster sister, they got into raves and Chandra, they were all into that. And I never even could go, it just never appealed to me.
Yeah.
And even when I went out in high school, I was still wanted to be home by midnight, I was tired. I went to bed early and I woke up early, even when I was a teenager. So I feel like I did so much in high school and then in my young 20s, before I had you, I didn't feel not ready. And then I nannied and I babysat so much. I was always taking care of, I started babysitting when I was 10, and my brother
younger
and sister,
siblings.
And it was natural to me. It's when I had you, nothing really changed. It wasn't like this big, hardship or anything. I was just like, what? Why do people say it's so hard? This is great. And it was just,
I would not. I would be so scared shitless.
Nothing was
even
only when your skin stuff, then that was hard. I didn't know anything. That wasn't an experience that I had. And back then, literally, people just put cortisone on you or Vaseline or weird shit, Neosporin.
Yeah.
And I don't know why that didn't seem right. And I was glad I met, knew Dr. Chris. And he's like, no, skin stuff is when it's a filtration. Your skin's your biggest organ. And if you have a rash, then there's something going on in your gut. Let's look at that. And so I was really lucky.
Yeah.
I learned all the things.
Me too. I was really lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah. Then we moved. I feel like moving to Humboldt really made it better. Just eating more farm to table stuff, and
it was way easier.
We were like being healthy was easier. It was like a real thing there.
Yeah,
it wasn't really a thing in like Elsinore.
No, and it's most people. Yeah, I feel like food's so important.
Yeah,
clean food.
When we first moved, I went to a Waldorf charter school where they would serve quinoa for snack time.
I hate quinoa.
I hate. That's why I'm like.
I never made quinoa for you guys.
Okay, that's fair.
I didn't.
But it was just. I was almost like, this is borderline child abuse when going to that school. But it's okay.
And they would put like cinnamon and sugar on it. Wouldn't they like try to make it sweet? I feel like
no, they had oatmeal. They would do that with oatmeal.
Okay.
No, they would put Bragg's on the quinoa.
The quinoa, that's what it is. Yeah, and I don't like Bragg's either.
Yeah.
And I don't like nutritional yeast. Those were all things
those are
used.
like big things that so many people in Humboldt eat and grew up with, and to this day, like still eat. And I'm like, y'all are.
No. When we went to the movie theater with Dave and all that, like Morgan, everyone, we all went, and he put nutritional yeast on his popcorn, and mine didn't come yet, and so he's just sitting next to me, and so I grab a handful in my mouth, and I'm just like trying to get it off my tongue, and then I grab a cider that's sitting there, and I don't like cider, and try to clear it out with the cider, and I'm like, oh my God, this is the worst thing ever right now.
Taste I've ever had. It was
like, and everyone's just laughing. They're like, what is she doing? Like, what is she being so
She's
weird
having
about?
a brain aneurysm.
And I was like, why would you put nutritional yeast on your popcorn? And then everyone's like, it's delicious. And I'm like, oh.
No,
ew.
when people do that, I'm like.
And especially when you're not expecting it. That texture.
That's the worst.
Of that. It was bad.
No, I'm not a fan.
No.
It's like, I will say it was cool growing up. My mom discovered Blue Sky Colas for us. So if we did want to drink soda, they were like these all organic. Non-caffeinated sodas that we would drink.
Yeah. They had the cola, Dr. Becker, like made up names for all the real sodas.
This is a question that Luke actually was asking me yesterday. It's a fun food one. What were all the pregnancy cravings that you got with each one of us? And like, because I know they were all different. So what was
yours and Arya's were the same though. That's what's funny.
Philly cheesesteak? I thought I was Taco Bell.
No.
Oh.
I barely never ate Taco Bell.
Okay, so.
There was a Philly cheesesteak in Huntington Beach. That was the very first Philly cheesesteak I ever ate. That was like a big craving. That and Las Barcas, I would say.
Yeah, Mexican
were the
food.
two. Yeah. I ate shredded beef tacos all the time.
When you were pregnant with me?
Yeah.
What did you crave when you were pregnant with Lucas and Harmony?
Lucas and Harmony. I can't think. Yeah.
Because I know that's after I was born, you were getting more into like the holistic stuff and more healthcare stuff. And I feel like probably we're more healthy. Like I was born at a hospital. They were born. The rest of my siblings were born at midwives, except Arya because she was taking her sweet time.
But still with a midwife.
But she was?
She was born with a nurse midwife.
Okay, yeah. But
the lady that, delivered her. The two midwives were there, but they couldn't do anything. But she still let Nat catch the baby that they weren't supposed to do, and umbilical cord, all the stuff.
Oh, that's cool. Nice.
And it was still all natural.
Like
no drugs,
it was just at the,
I just had to be at the hospital, not the house.
Yeah.
She did not want to be born there.
Yeah. That was crazy because I had a sister who passed from brain cancer, and she passed away in this house that we were living at. And was it
less than a year later? No.
Yes, less than a year later, my mom gets pregnant with my who's very well health sister. And my mom made the realization. She's like, I think it's like when death is in one place, like I can't bring the new life here or something. You
Maya
were like,
did.
She was saying like
she
Arya
didn't want to be born there.
Yeah, Arya was like, this is too much. So you were in labor for
36 hours. My water had broke.
No.
And then I had there was meconium, which is when the baby has a bowel movement inside the they can start ingesting it and then have breathing problems, or like it can be serious. So I was rushed. They were like, you have to go in and like have the baby. And so I was stuck at 2, and you go from 2 to 10. And
what?
I was just stuck at 2 for 36 hours. Like you guys all progressed very normal and naturally.
I'm learning so
Then
much.
we got into, as we were driving there, it literally came on so hard. And then I got there and went from like 2 to 10 in like hour and a half.
Yeah. Then she was like, I'm ready.
She just came. As soon as we left the house, it was like everything progressed.
Mm-hmm.
So between either me or her, one of us needed movement to a different space.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
She was fine. She came.
I almost wonder if it was you then.
Yeah.
If it was like holding on to, like, you know, that was.
It was a lot of trauma.
Yeah, a lot of trauma in that.
Yeah.
So I feel like.
When I brought her home, we were there, you know, the whole summer of her passing, where we just like home health cared her.
Yeah.
There. Like I chose not to have her in the hospital. So we just had that Charlene lady that would come check and do everything with us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was special. I always feel privileged, like, by our experience. I mean, it's not the best thing to ever happen to anyone, obviously, but like when I hear about, or even when like Uncle Richard passing, like that just happened in a blink of an eye. Like we got to really take our time with it, and like that was a very special for me, like way to kind of be introduced to the cycle of life.
Yeah. The whole experience as a whole was, heart-wrenching and all that. But in those last few days, like I feel like I was very like held up by angel, spirit, universe, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And I was very lucky that I got to like do the ceremony, do all the stuff, have all the people come. And even her ceremony, like her funeral type ceremony was even like.
Yeah, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. We wore white. Yeah.
White and colors. Yeah. And then I got to, I feel like transitioning back, like birth and death are the same, just like one and the same.
Yeah.
You're going home to one place or coming home to another. It's like, which one's the home? I don't know. That's how I feel like when her death, that happened, it was very similar to like when she was born. It was very like the energy you felt, the euphoric feeling.
Me and Mayo actually talked about that in a session one time.
Yeah.
She was saying like when she was talking about death, and she was like, I feel like our birth and death are very similar, like how we come into the world, like whether it was a chaotic birth or very gentle birth, like I feel like sometimes we'll transition into the way you leave the earth.
Yeah.
So
I totally feel that way.
But that's almost, I didn't know that it was also similar emotions that you felt.
Yeah, you get like this weird kind of euphoric energy when you give birth. You're very like high, kind of like you feel like all these drugs that are like hormones that are being pumped through you, and you just feel like kind of on top of the world. Like you kind of feel like untouched and like happy, and like everything's, I don't know, you have a connection to spirit almost. And then when she passed, it was the same thing. It was like almost a week after that I still feel held in that like space.
Right.
And then I remember when it went away, and people talk about it when it like when they actually start transitioning, and then you feel that like loss of the physical body and the physical person and like that part of it.
Yeah.
But, yeah. You just like, and that's the only time you'll get sad is when you remember the physical person or the memories. But if you just like sit back and try to connect, you feel her all the time.
Yeah, that's how I felt, because I was there too that night, and I remember that like being more sad about the idea of her just like not being there anymore. But then like when she passed, I remember being like, oh wait, she's still here. Like I still feel her in this room.
Yeah.
And
she hung out for a while.
She
like,
did.
It was funny. Like, there was like
I
little
put on
things.
Land Before Time. Because for us, so that it felt like she was watching it with me. That was special.
And then all the funny movies, like Anytime, all the movies that she liked. Uptown Girl.
She loves
Dixie. White Chicks.
Yeah, that was and then it was more funny when Arya was born, like how similar interests she had to Harmony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. different, but yeah. And then like, yeah, the likings, the things that she liked. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like that kind of answers this next question, but I'm going to ask it anyways. What's the life event that shaped you?
Pretty much that.
Yeah.
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 I feel like
Same.
having you, that was a big transition from 20s.
Right.
Like I became a woman, I became a mom. I grew up a lot having you.
Yeah.
Like just, yeah. And then after like splitting up with your dad right away, and it was just me and you for a minute. And then just all that, it was just like, oh, it's like my confidence came in, like a lot of things. I became different. I feel like I was like a little girl and then was like, oh, okay.
Yeah. I feel like it's when you're, you know, younger than your teenage years or becoming a person, you have this idea of how your life's going to turn out, or you feel like you can rely on people, and some people you can't always rely on, but most of the time, like for me, yeah, a big part of growing up is that moment when you realize whether you can rely on people or not. It's good to feel like, okay, well, I got me. I got
this.
I got this. I'm going to adapt. I'll figure it out. Yeah. That's like a big part, I feel like, of being like, oh, okay, I guess I'm a grown up now.
Yeah. And it's when you're in your 20s, like, because like I'm sure it happens with you. There's certain friends that are getting married and having kids, and then you're on a different path.
Yeah.
That's how it is. It's like, okay, everyone else is still hanging out and they're in college or they're over here partying.
I have a whole spectrum of people doing stuff, but what's also nice is no matter what, you know, some friends, you'll still be able to see them and have that same energy of, like, Rhea's definitely one. Like, I think no matter what, I'll always see her and it'll be a goofy time and like other friends.
She's so funny.
Yeah. So it's crazy. Crazy how fast life moves.
Yeah. Because before you, I feel like I was like more materialistic, more like
Valley
less
girl.
Less less spiritual and like or even having thoughts on those things.
Right.
And having you, I was pregnant with you and there was a store I would walk with you to all the time. Well, in my belly. And then when you were a baby, I'd walk with the stroller. The Aquarian Age bookstore. And that's where like I started learning about like healing or energy or any type of things like that. And so I feel like, you were that big transition. And then fast forward, and then the loss of her was like another huge shift. Even moving to Humboldt was a big
that was a big
too.
one. Yeah.
Uprooting, like us, it was like I was by myself, 3 kids, to this whole other area where I knew nobody, and was like, all right, if we're doing this, let's trust that it's all going to work out. And it did. But
no, I think having you as my mom gave me that energy about myself. Like, I got this. If she can do it, she did so much more. And with kids, like, that's like one of the scariest things that I'm still on the fence about to this day. I'm like, should I, do I want? Because then I talk to people or I see people like you where it isn't scary. So I'm like, I think those are the people that should have children. But also, you know.
I don't think everyone has to, but it's definitely like a life experience that you don't get anywhere else by caring for another human being and like that connection you have with this little tiny, you grow it inside of you. It's crazy.
It's like a Neopet.
You just, I mean, jobs and travel, all the things, they're all great and everything. Yeah. But they say, mom, I don't regret having as many kids, raising as many kids.
Well, they say too, it's very good for humans' mental health to take care of things outside of themselves. Yeah. So that's why I think people get pets or even like houseplants. They say like putting something in your daily routine where you take care of something outside of yourself. Yeah. It's good. It's good for your heart. It's good for your soul. It's good for your mental health. But yeah. Definitely. We're there. Sorry, I saw questions. No? Okay. What are 3 ingredients that go into making you?
He's just a person?
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. I would say I'm nurturing.
Mm-hmm.
I am
cleanliness.
Yeah, I guess very clean.
She's very clean.
Clean and organized.
I always used to say she's like Monica Geller from Friends.
Yeah, I do. I like
she likes
cleanliness
clean
in all things. Nurturing and strength. I think I'm pretty strong.
You're very strong. Taurus, mama strong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm strong physically, but like mentally strong, emotionally strong.
How much are you snatching nowadays?
Snatching? I don't snatch that much.
Or
That's
whatever.
like my least amount
what
of weight.
lifting? I don't know.
I would say like deadlifting is like 225.
Yeah.
Back squat 170.
That's insane.
Yeah. Clean.
I remember that one time you squatted me and then you
that was
threw
easy.
me.
That's like nothing.
But then you threw
Nowadays,
me.
that would be like nothing.
Yeah.
Weigh 110 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would be like, that's easy.
Yeah. And then I tumbled over.
Yeah.
I don't know where that video
stay
is.
Tight. Stay tight. I know I don't have it because I tried to show someone the other day and it's nowhere. I was like, oh, I've back squatted living. Well, it's easy if you have someone that can just keep their body really tight. It's like you just throw them over and just do it.
Maybe now I can.
Okay, we'll have to do a new video.
Yeah, exactly. There we go.
Try to back squat Luke.
Oh shit, maybe. I don't know how much he weighs. We would try.
He probably weighs like 160.
Yeah. You deadlift him.
Maybe.
What is the most, actually I think he was 140.
140.
Yeah. Looking at him. What is the most important thing to you right now?
Right now?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. The most
like
important thing
growing
in
your
life.
business or well, yeah, I guess like what's important to you.
What I focus on, I am trying to grow my business and I do want to travel.
Mm-hmm.
I do want to do lots of things, but it's more, I feel like I've been working more on just calming my nervous system, like being able to stay regulated and make decisions out of a regulated state.
Yeah.
And, just like kind of being able to tune into myself to where then I can get more ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So like slowing down because I'm physically active. It's really easy for me to do things.
Yeah.
Get shit done.
Yeah.
Cross off lists. Like all that's easy, but it's hard for me to be still.
Yeah.
And so that's like the most thing I've been working on is like slowing down and like slowing my mind down and getting my mind back into my body. And like,
that's good.
I would say is what I've been working on. And then I feel like when I'm that way, then my business I have more ideas or like ways to go about it or how to make money in different ways or build it, market it.
Yeah.
Marketing is the hardest for me of it. It's like the weirdest part and the hardest part.
Yeah. People. Yeah. Well, maybe get more from this video. Yeah. People, yeah. It's a big part of it now. It's crazy how much, no matter what business it is, it's like social media marketing and all that has to, it's a lot.
And I have Instagram and I have Facebook, but like, I don't even know what Twitter is. And then like, I didn't even know what Reddit was. Someone's like, oh, they came in to get worked on and they're like, I was like, oh, how'd you hear about me? They're like, oh, you were suggested on Reddit like 3 times. And I was like, really? What is Reddit?
What is Reddit?
Is it an app? I was like, what is it?
You don't use TikTok, huh?
I don't use TikTok either. Yeah.
Yeah, I use TikTok. I know it. I put it off for so long, but
it's all a lot. Like
I know.
Just yesterday, I made a reel. It took me like I was doing it in between coaching, and so it took me like 15 minutes at one point, and then I did another 20. Like it was over 30 minutes just to create a reel, to edit the little videos, put it together, find the music, and then post it. And then it was like, that's a lot of time to like.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's actually pretty fast too. Only 30 minutes.
Really?
To make it, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like some of the ones that I make for this show is like an hour to like do all the captions and stuff.
Yeah. It's hard for me. It's like, and then then you're like, oh, that's corny. Like, I don't know if that was good or, oh, I look weird.
Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta post and not think about it.
That's the only way I post, because if I think about it, I'll never post.
Yeah.
And that's why there'll be periods
and you have
of
to
like
just do it with like the mindset of like, this is just for work, this isn't it. I'm not trying to project anything else.
Yeah.
Like the right people will be attracted to it or come through.
Yes.
Ooh. What is something you feel you're deserving of?
I'm deserving of?
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm deserving of everything. Deserving of love. I'm definitely deserving. I do. I feel like I'm a really good person.
You
and
are
I feel
a really
like
good
I put
person.
out
you do
good energy in the world. And some
care of
people
a lot
do.
of
And I used to
people.
not have good self-worth, and I used to not have good like beliefs that I deserved things. But I totally, at this point in my life, at this age and stage I'm at, I feel like, I'm totally deserving of like love, happiness.
Yeah.
Good
and
things
like you
to happen
can be
to me,
specific
be
about the things you do want.
Yeah.
Rather than just adapting to everything.
So I feel like I've done that a lot. I go with the flow, or like not go with the flow. No, I won't say that. No, I'll take that out. But as things happen, I adapt well. Like
no, for sure.
Like shit happens and I'm like, okay, this is okay.
Mm-hmm.
Now we're doing this, or fuck. And then like I might freak out for a second, and then it's like, all right. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Have some.
Oh yeah, we do. Yeah, we do have some fan questions.
Ooh.
I'm gonna pass it off to Ash.
Oh, perfect.
So we have one producer question, also 3 fan questions. So the first one is from us. We wanted to know, for Miss Brooke, what are your hopes for Lumi's future?
My hopes for Lumi's future. I just want her to be happy, mostly.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm just always so proud of her. She's always, since she was like 15, always has been like a hard worker, good work ethic, and just like has a good drive and goes after things. Like, so I don't know, I feel like she's got it handled. I swear. Like she's, she has more confidence, more drive at the age that she's at. She just does shit. Like she wants to do something, she just does it. And I'm just like always so proud of her. So I guess just keep going that way. Keep going in the direction she's
just
going
keep
in.
doing it.
I've just watched her grow so much in the last few years. And
Yeah. It just reminded me, because I feel like the world wants to know this, but also I want people to hear this. About when I told you in like our whole experience when I said I was just going to say that, I was going to do adult videos, entertainment.
Well, she first told me, you first did OnlyFans. Yeah. And that was like a lot for me, because she's always posted, she's just way more free than me and confident with her body and with her like sexuality, which is great, because it's like most of us women, especially, my generation or even older than me, have not been, and then if you've had trauma of any sort of sexual stuff, then you're even like less like, and I've just been, my life path has been way different than hers. And so she first told me the OnlyFans, I was just like, oh, watch out, that's a slippery slope. They're gonna start with like, picture here and then a video here, and then they're gonna want you to do this. They're just like, be careful, like be safe, like I love you. I just don't want, to like, you to be uncomfortable or be taken advantage of, or like, people to be rude, because people are mean on the internet.
Yeah.
And she was like, okay, and then she was like doing well, making money doing that. And then she called me and told me she was going to do porn. And I was just like, cried. I had freaked out. I was like, why? Please don't do this. And I felt like it was like something bad. And so like through this whole experience has like totally opened my mind to like, oh, like this is a choice. And like, she is really comfortable and free with herself. And like, I shouldn't have my trauma or my issues put that on her. Like,
well, I remember
she doesn't have trauma. Like she doesn't have weird shit that
but I worked through my own thing, honestly, from going to Rick for some stuff. And then through that career path, it allowed me to kind of redefine my relationship with sex. And I feel like I have a much healthier relationship with not only sex, but being like vulnerable with men and being open to love, being open to having a good partner and not like messing with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember you called me one time because you said you were listening to Esther Perel. And I always tell people this because anybody who like has struggled with their relationships with their mother, anything from doing the adult entertainment kind of pipeline. But you said you realize that we just have different relationships with sex.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, that's very big of you to even come to that realization, whether it was from a podcast or on your own.
Well, because when I have a hard time with stuff, I do try to self-reflect. And so I just was talking to people about it. Like Shauna was a big person.
Yeah.
That was like, it's not like girls. I have lots of friends that like love what they're doing and it's not a bad thing and they're not being taken advantage of. And it's not like they're being treated this certain way. But if you don't know, if you've never experienced it or seen that industry,
I didn't.
You just think bad or you think like, I don't know, something you've seen in movies and girls treated poorly, you know.
You see them gain. Yeah.
I worked at strip clubs and so it was like waitressing and women aren't treated well. Like they're an object and they were like, you know, I was even told like have a drink so you can loosen up and be friendlier to the, you know, customers. And I'm just like,
no,
I don't want them touching me.
Yeah.
Like, I'm a waitress. Like I'm just supposed to serve them beer and alcohol.
Yeah.
Like,
but
it was a good journey because it was super scary and I was so sad and then it like to where I'm so proud of you.
Yeah.
And, like not at all. Like, and can talk about it. And,
And now this is what I do. This is the only mic I talk into now.
So this next question comes from Tidal Wave 142003. He needed all those numbers.
Yeah,
wow. They want to know, was your daughter always a free spirit? I know you kind of touched on this.
Short answer. Day one. Yeah, from day one, since she was a baby. Like she was just never was by the book. Never did anything by the book. Always out, like just,
non-conventional is what she would say.
Completely. I mean, part of the reason we moved up to Humboldt was so she could go to that type of school, the Waldorf curriculum school, because she didn't want to go to school at age 5. So I waited and sent her at 6. And that was a whole thing in our family. And then she just had a hard time being in a class, like sitting there. She would get up in the middle of kindergarten. The teacher would be like, so Lumina thinks that she can just like get up and go swing when she wants in the middle of class. And like there was like this was weird to me too. Like they had her drawing cat and they gave her like 3 colors, like a brown and a black and maybe a yellow or something. And she went over and grabbed other colors and made it all colored. And they're like, she doesn't follow the rules. Like we were trying to get, and the kids were supposed to draw the cat with these colors. And I'm like, that's fucking weird. Weird. It's kindergarten. Like, why can't they use every color? Like,
yeah.
So that was a big reason, that type of schooling, because it was left, right brain. She was always really artistic at a young age. So.
Nice.
Yeah.
This next question actually comes from a guest we've had before.
Yeah.
C. Dot did dot Y. Yeah. Cassidy. Yeah. Cassidy says, they want to know, what was your staple meal, like affordable meal that you would cook for you guys, like when they were kids?
I would probably say when I had all of the kids, like when I was raising all 5 kids, I would say the most thing was this broccoli cashew soup, because it was pretty affordable and
healthy.
Yeah, healthy. It was like broccoli, cashews, garlic, vegetable broth. It was, and then brio bread.
Yeah. Oh, brio bread.
So it was
so good.
It fed everyone, because like
can you just make a big pot?
It was expensive to feed like 5 kids, 7 people, and then whoever friends were over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was a good one.
When when they were just them 3, the thing was like noodles. They loved garlic butter noodles and broccoli. And that was like a go-to.
Yeah.
So this final question comes from another past guest, Eddie Arizola.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Best question of them all. Can she fix me?
Yes. I can.
Yeah. I told him I would bring her to Lobo's gym so that she can do work on people because she does fascia stretch therapy. Yeah. Not emotionally fix Eddie. None of us can do that. Sorry, Eddie. But yes.
Yeah. Okay. Actually, I did get reminded of something, and maybe we can end the show with this. Of course. When we were helping you prep, and then we sent you like the call sheet. One of the questions I asked you, is there like a story that maybe Lumi doesn't know? Were you able to? I don't know if you were able to even touch base
kind of
upon
funny.
this.
And I don't know if she does know it or not.
Oh God.
But just because of what you do and like this is funny and it's something that's totally out of my character. When me and Ashley were cocktail waitressing at this club, Deja Vu, one of the nights, because we were both like, I was a single mom. She wasn't single mom, but like, you know, like you're making as much money as you can or whatever. And they had an amateur night all the time. Like once a week or whatever. Mm-hmm. And Ashley talked me into doing it. She's like, let's do it because you won $500. And back then that's a lot, you know, to make it a night. So she talks me into it. We both like the girls are dressing us up. We're both taking shots. She backs out. And I go on and I'm like, I go and do whatever.
A strip number? Yes. Oh my God, I did not know that.
I felt like you might not have known this.
I don't know that. I did not know that. This is the only thing
I can think of right now that she doesn't know. Because I don't tell people, because it's like.
I didn't know that. No. You should tell more people.
It was cool. I won. Well, I won the $500, but it was just like. I remember being up there just dying and the girls are like in the front and they're like, you know, kind of coaxing, telling me what to do. And like, yeah, wearing this little cute outfit, a little cowboy hat. Oh my God. Yeah. And I was like, Ashley. And it was like, I was already too in it.
Yeah,
like I was already like dressed and like they had, the energy was flowing. And so I was like, all right.
Oh my God.
Okay. They're like, just do it. You're going to win. You're going to win. Like, look at these other girls that came and stuff. And it was like, they all were friends with me. So they were like, and I was already dressed, you know, had hair and makeup done.
Yeah.
You had to already wear this little hideous outfit.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm so glad I remembered to ask that question.
Yeah. Oh my God. I did not know that. That is insane because we tell each other pretty much everything.
I know, but
that's
like,
a story that I don't think you've ever shared. This is one I don't
ever talk about really.
Yeah. I'm surprised.
I was almost not going to put it on here.
Yeah.
I was like, no, this is like for anyone to see.
I know. I was like, I don't know if you realize this, but this is on the internet now.
I know. But it is something I did.
That was something I had to be very aware of when I did what I did. So, but yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Now we're even. Perfect.
Do you want to plug your businesses, like where we can find that? Is that something you want to do?
Sure. I have a business, Balanced Body Arcata. It's in McKinleyville, up in Humboldt County. I do body work out of there. I do fascial stretching, which is working with the fascia on the body. Mm-hmm. I do trigger point, deep tissue, prenatal, infant, pediatric. I do kids. And then I'm a personal trainer at the gym Lifted, and I coach there, and I program functional strength training there. Mm-hmm. And I do one-on-one, training, functional strength training, basic strength training, mobility, and yoga. And so those are my businesses. And I have an Instagram page, Balanced Body Arcata, a website, and Facebook.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she does wonders. And you guys know where to find me at Lumi_Ray on Instagram, at Lumina_Ray with 2 Y's on Twitter. Just, look up Lumi Ray and don't forget to like, subscribe, leave some comments about the episode you just watched, and we'll see you next time.